Good evening, everybody. Good Sunday evening. It is 8:42 here in Atlanta, Georgia. Ava and I just got back from our evening walk. It's hot. It was hot too. We left the house at about 10 minutes to 8 or 15 minutes to 8. Went in and got it in. I think tomorrow we're going to have to walk at evening time also. We're going to have to wait more till like it's 9 o'clock or whatever. But good evening. Hope everybody's doing well this evening, in good spirits. I'm sitting out here in my little garden house, greenhouse here in East Point. Got my fan blowing on me. Got me a bottle of water to stay hydrated. Figured I'd come on. I started the morning off with my guitar sitting in the lower yard, singing a couple of old gospel hymns. Good evening, Valerie. And I've had such a good weekend, but an odd weekend. And I think I'm just going to close it out by sitting out here this evening for 20 or 30 minutes and just kind of meditating upon or thinking upon gratitude and goodness, being thankful. Yeah. Might scramble me an egg when I get through with this. I have dinner. Maybe how many? I got fresh tomatoes growing all out here. I've got tons of tomatoes. I took a big old sack full of them over to Heather and Kathy yesterday. But I might go in the house. I have fresh eggs from my hens out here. Sometimes, if you can't think of nothing else, a scrambled egg sandwich with a slice of tomato on it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But we had a graveside service today at 1 o'clock down at Westminster Gardens in Peachtree City for Vicky Sarton. It was hot, but it wasn't too bad. It was a little short service, maybe lasted 20 minutes or so. Good evening, TikTok. Good evening, Facebook, Instagram. Hello, Letha Thompson. Yeah, hello, everybody. Just come through, say hello. Yes, Letha. Good evening to you. Come through for a minute, say hello. If y'all like I am on TikTok and Facebook or whatever, I'll watch like a minute of somebody's live and skip on to something else or whatever. But if you'd like to set a spell and listen to me and us kind of wind this weekend down and let our spirits kind of get relaxed, let our hearts kind of get open, let our mind just kind of be kind of calm down. Maybe you can feel the energy and the vibration in this little garden house I'm sitting in. I got 2 bales of hay here I got my feet propped up on. I can hear crickets or cicadas or whatever they are out here. The chickens, I got 4 hens out here. They're making their way into the hen house to go get up in their bed on their roost. Yeah, it's always something to go to a funeral. Yeah, it is. I got a little music playing on my laptop here. I can't gauge whether it's too loud or whatever. It's real soft in here. You know, at the Westminster Gardens in Peachtree City at the cemetery today, Kathy and Robbie and Bobby, the 2 sisters and brother of Vicky, the chairs they were sitting on under the tent was on top of Kathy's mama and daddy's grave, George and Betty Gerald. And It was just ironic. She was sitting on it because, you know, the way the cemetery is laid out. Vicky was buried right at the feet of him. And it's just ironic. I told Kathy, I'm like, George, her father's name was George. And he died when he was 52 of lung cancer. Smoked Pall Malls in a red, beer drinker on the weekend, made his living as a truck driver, took care of his family. I liked him. He was always good to me. I sat by his bedside as he died, and he was on life support in the final days of his life, and the doctor came and, you know, the family had to make a decision to take him off life support. Back then, that was pretty tricky. This was 30 years ago, and I was a young person that always loved the Lord, you know, wanted to be there for people if I could, and plus, you know, so Betty, his wife, Kathy's mom, she's passed now too. I asked her, we were sitting in the waiting room, and the doctor said, we're going to, you know, they made the decision to unhook him. And the doctor said, it should only take about, probably he'd live 10 or 15 minutes once we take him off life support, maybe. And I said, a lot of times they go pretty quick. And so I don't know, I didn't want him to be all by himself in that room when they did that to him. So I told Betty, I said, Betty, you want me to go sit with him and hold his hand while they unhook him? She said, oh, Eddie, would you? Would you? I'm like, yeah, I was just a young man. So I went in there and pulled a chair up beside his bed and held his hand. The nurse, whatever, came in there, and they just basically, he had a tube running out of his mouth, and they just undid it and left the tube still in him, but just like hanging out of his mouth, and turned the breathing machine off. That and yeah, so I sat there and held his hand, you know. Yeah. So I was telling Kathy, I'm like, today when we were down there, I'm like, his grave right there. I said, man, that seems like a long time ago. Like another lifetime. Is that like that? Y'all have memories of like way back, and it's like, was that even in this life? It seems like it was a different life, a long time ago. So anyway, good evening, everybody. I guess I got that energy still kind of layered up on me from just being at the cemetery today and saying bye to Kathy's sister. So coming to y'all this evening from Atlanta, Georgia, over here on TikTok. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Facebook and Instagram. And let's all have a good week this coming week. Let's put good energy and intentions out there. Whatever it is, I've got to start making some headway on the Key Roadhouse. I'm going to work at the shop tomorrow. So if any of you people's around Atlanta, hey, Chris over in Dunwoody, love back to you too. If any of you is around the Atlanta area, it is a beautiful ambience. Thank you. Sending love, sending hearts back to you there, Blue Dots 54. So if any of you is around the shop tomorrow in Southeast Atlanta, Grant Park or something, I'm going to be there from about 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. So that's my day. I don't get paid nothing for it, y'all. I get my rent off my bill. But I do it just because it really keeps my brain working, figuring out downloads and formats and uploads and billing and working on machines. I like to keep that part of my brain kind of active. Good evening, TikTok. Coming to y'all from Atlanta this evening for people asking where we're at. We're in Atlanta. It's hot. It's going to be about 100 degrees every day for the next 5 or 6 days. Man, you can tell something in the jet flow or the air or whatever it is, the weather pattern, you can tell in the last couple of days it has shifted because the whole month of March, April, and May, it was like a rainforest here in Atlanta. Just kind of man. I've never seen a spring where we had that much rain. My garden is the most beautiful it's ever been all around the house because it loves all this rain we've had. But now you can feel it shifting, and there's a real intense heat that's going to be our neighbor for the next 10 days or so. So anyhow, I don't know what your week looks like ahead of you, but thank y'all for the likes and all, everybody. But I want to work tomorrow, and then Tuesday I'm going to the Key Roadhouse, and me and George is going to start putting the moisture barrier down on the floor up under the house, crawling around. I probably should hire somebody to crawl around under there and do that so I tear my knees up. But I have knee pads on. I actually like doing stuff. I don't want to hurt myself because you have to be careful when you get a certain age. Try to stay down off ladders and off the top of roofs. But I still like sawing and hammering and demoing and pulling up toilets and pulling down walls. Yeah. So the world seems like it's in a lot of conflict. And, I decided this. I listened for a few minutes today before I took my nap. I've fallen into this pattern where I like to take an afternoon nap, and that's habit forming. It's like every day by about 2 o'clock or so, I'm like, oh, I got to go lay down. And they say it's actually healthy for you. But I've decided this about, if you can turn on there's 10, 15, 20 cable channels. There's all kind of news outlets. And everybody on there, all the talking heads, they got all the answers. They know all this. They all know that. You know as much as they know. If you just say you believe this is going to happen, you're probably about as right as whatever they are. You know what I've come to learn in life? There's not a lot of people that's smarter than you. When you put your head to it, you're about as smart as the rest of them. You probably know about as much as the rest of them does. And, so I watched a little bit of that on the news and flipping around the channels, and they're talking about the bombing of the nuclear sites in Iran, and all this kind of stuff. What if Iran does this, and what if Iran does that, and we'll do this? We're going to be in a prolonged war. We're going to do this, that, the other. Heather says my bathrooms are waiting. Don't worry. I'm real patient. Yeah, we do need to do that. Hey, Heather, my bathroom, you've been in my bathroom. My bathroom's been waiting for 15 years. I do everybody else's bathroom. I need to do my bathroom. So, but anyway, but here's what I was going to get to. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what Iran's going to do. Nobody knows what anybody's going to do. All that stuff will take care of itself. It'll work itself out. Hey, Shannon, Avery, Watson. Hey, Eddie, North Carolina here. Just got back from the beach and my soul is recharged. Doesn't it? You know what? I get that, Shannon. Ava and I are going down this coming weekend to Jekyll Island. And we're going to have our room, and then Jill and Savannah's going with us, and they'll have their own room. And we're staying at the Westin on Jekyll for 3 nights. And we're actually going in there Sunday morning. You're saying Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, driving back Wednesday. I'm getting home before the 4th of July. And that Wednesday, whenever it's Jill's birthday. Jill's born on July the 3rd. And but yeah, the beach, most people do get that. You know what I think it is about the being at the beach and the ocean? I can tell, like when I go down to Panama City, way before I get to the beach, I can smell the ocean. I can smell the ocean in the air. And I think your Earth itself is a ball of energy, but there's something about getting your feet right on that sand on the edge of any beach, and you're connecting with such a huge amount of energy that's continually rolling over and moving. And I think our body really just absorbs it. That's why we feel renewed, reborn, rejuvenated, recalibrated. Uh, I was telling, actually, Heather's on here. Me and Heather and Jill was talking earlier today. If I'm not mistaken, Jill might have rented a hotel at Marco Beach, Florida. Yeah, yeah, she probably will. Jill's anchoring to go to the beach, but Ava and I, we're going down for 3 nights at Jekyll this coming weekend, and we're using it as a. Uh, she and I are both working on the same book. I'm coming at it from my end. She's coming at it from her end, and we're going to spend those 3 days at the Westin Hotel. They have a Starbucks in the lobby. We're going to be in our room with a balcony and ocean view and king bed, and we're going to get our laptops down and put our heads together and see how to work on this book to kind of start marrying it, and so we can get it printed. And so it's kind of weird, that I've read about where so many other writers, Tennessee Williams and Maya Angelou, a lot of writers go to a hotel, even though these people had great wealth and had writing studios. And if you ever been to Ernest Hemingway house, he had a house out behind him that he wrote these great books in this thing. But really and truly, when you go down there and you see what he did, there's a hotel that we stayed in that he'd go check into that hotel and write the book at the hotel. And not that we're going to do any writing, we're just kind of doing editing. Down there over these 3 days, just kind of going through and editing, making some changes. But Tennessee Williams, when we were in Key West July of last year, Tennessee Williams in that hotel had rented a room for a year, and Ernest Hemingway would come over there and they'd sit in the lobby and drink. But Tennessee Williams wrote one of his famous books there at that hotel. So anyhow, good evening, everybody. It is 1 minute to 9. The weekend's winding down here in Atlanta. I'm thankful for life this evening. I'm thankful for Ava. I'm thankful for Boom Boom. I'm thankful for that my body digests water and food. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful that I'm just keeping on keeping on, Thank y'all for the hearts and everything on TikTok. So if I just sat here and be quiet for a minute, what can I feel as I come to the end of this weekend? What is my spirit telling me? What do I feel down in my soul this evening? That life is precious. That every day is a gift. Take nothing for granted. Something came up today and we was getting back to Kathy's after the thing, and Savannah was saying something. She's like, oh, I know what it was. We got back, I drove back to Kathy's house. Well, if I sat too long in the one position. I go to get out of the car, and I just kind of had to push myself up out of the car. I'm like, my God, my legs is almost locked up on me. And Savannah said, Papa, it's going to be funny when you get old enough where you have to use a walking stick or walking cane sometime. I'm like, girl, let me tell you something. I said, you're going to be able to tell thank you, Maria. It is a beautiful greenhouse. I love my greenhouse. I told her, she's like, Papa, it's going to be funny when you get so old you have to walk with a walking cane. And I told her, I said, I'm going to tell you what. You're going to be able to tell your children and grandchildren that your Papa, when he was 80 years old, put on a pair of roller skates and roller skated down Berean Avenue in Cabbagetown when you was young. I said, you wait and see. When I turn 80, I'm going to put roller skates on it, and we're going to roller skate down the street that you live on over in Cabbagetown. So I keep putting out these intentions that I'm going to live, that I'm going to enjoy life, that I'm going to be healthy, that I'm going to be able to just keep on going. And I know I was at a graveside burial, but I know we're all going to die. And I know whether we live to be 100 or 39. In the big picture of time, life is just a speck of time. But I do believe we have that something that we can put out there, you know. And I'm real careful too. And I don't. Maybe it's okay for me to say this because everybody that knew him knew it. Sammy told me for years. He says, Eddie, I'll never live to be 50. And he started telling me like this when he was 25. And I would rebuke him and tell him, Sammy, why would you say that? That's just horrible. That's hurtful even to hear you say that. He said, I don't think I'll live past 50. Well, he died in his late 40s. But he started saying that years before then. And so, do our words have power? Do we have power? Are we much more powerful than we think we are? Do we prophesy our future? Do we have the wherewithal to direct our paths? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. People are like, oh, I just leave all that up to God, and I just let God handle all that. What if you are God? What if it is you that is the God in you? You can hear all these great prophets and poets and enlightened people talk about energies and vibrations and why this is that way and why that is this way. And really and truly, it's all a guess and an intuition. It's all a guess and an intuition. They don't know any more than what you know. They don't know. They don't have any deeper revelation of God, of whatever God is, than what you have. Some of you that's listening to this, when that little grandson, that little granddaughter crawls up, lays up against you and watching TV, you're as close to God in that moment as they have ever been. You know? Some might think they understand all the great mysteries of the universe and spirit and mankind and the Holy Spirit and God. They came here with no more knowledge than you did. I get it. Some people are able to tap into it a little easier and maybe a little deeper. But you have that also. So, anyhow, it's getting dark over here. TikTok still looks good. I look like a 100-year-old man over on Facebook. So let me see right here. It is 9:06. Cancel. So I'm going to go in here. I think I'm going to go scramble me an egg sandwich and put me a slice of fresh tomato on it, a little salt and pepper, and a little mayonnaise, and have me a little egg sandwich for dinner right here. Y'all, you see Ava in the kitchen. Yeah, Ava's in there. What is she cooking? What is she? Oh, she's fixing her some. She's fixing her some dinner. She's eating some crackers and cheese. Thank you there, Stephanie. Over on Facebook, Stephanie says, "Eddie, your message is always just what I need to hear." So let's end this in agreement. I'm gonna go scramble me an egg sandwich. Tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Woo. Oh my goodness. Okay. Tomorrow's gonna be a good day. Sometimes I'm just so old school. Sometimes I don't even think what I'm saying. Then as I'm saying something, it just hits me like fire shut up in my bones. Like, oh, now you've tapped into it. Tomorrow is going to be a good day. This week is going to be a good week. Things are going to flow in an easier way. Blessings are going to come our way. Your way, my way. Blessings. Just blessings are going to come our way. Good night there, Linda. I'm hanging up too. I love y'all. See y'all. Thank y'all for indulging me with these few minutes. Yeah, this is going to be a good week, y'all. I felt that in the Holy Ghost. I felt that in my spirit. Tomorrow is going to be a good day. Tomorrow is going to be a good day. Wait and see. I want a blessing to hunt you down and track you down and overcome you, where you'll walk out in your yard tomorrow afternoon sometime and say, whew, man, today was just a good day. Yeah, something good's going to go on. Love y'all. See y'all.